Hello, I'm Sinead, and welcome. This week on Craft and Chat, we're going to do things a little different. But before we get started, I wanted to draw attention to the videos that came out on Friday and Monday. We have a tutorial for this little gown, and after the filming of the tutorial, I went back and painted with Posca pens, and I think it turned out really well. This is another version of the same gown, but it's got embroidered flowers instead. So it's a really pretty basic gown, fits several different dolls, and is just a wonderful canvas to embellish if you do it in a solid color, but also if you do it in a print, it's lovely as well. It's simple and easy way to get your tiny dolls in that 4.5-inch range clothed. I think it also fits, yeah, it does. It fits the petite Blythe, and it fits the midi Blythe as like a really mini that you want to put like stockings or something on with. And I can put it on my Cindy dolls as a shirt. The other thing that came out was on Monday. This is a dresser. It's not really a very impressive looking, I guess, right now because it's not finished, because my paper has not arrived and I don't want to paint it. I want to cover it in paper, decorative paper. But the drawers open, and the template for it is free, and it's on my website. You can download it, and sorry about that. That was an alarm I needed to tend to. I've lost my train of thought too. So I was going to do some stitching this week, and it's not all that much fun to watch the stitching. So I will set up the camera in a different position and we'll start chatting. So this setup is more what I had in mind when I initially called the Wednesday episodes Craft and Chat, is that I would sit and craft and share with you a little bit as I went along, but I look down a lot while I'm working, and I thought, they're going to see a lot of this part. And I was too insecure to continue with that, because that is not really an attractive thing. In fact, all of this area here that looks bald is actually just white hair. You can't see my hair. It's there. But I am working on a cowl. There's the hood part, and it has the stitching on it, and I've stitched around the edge of the hood, and then the cowl part that goes over your shoulders has a much more involved pattern. And I have been working on this. There I am. I've been working on this for over a year, I think. Or maybe just, well, now I've lost track of time, and I don't know. I'd have to go look some things up. The Bilbo birthday party that we did, the gaming and whatnot, and Essie, when Essie was created, would be when I started this. And it's part of my evening sit down and hand stitch. Oh my gosh, there's a side discussion, and I could really use some help with that. So it has become the norm as people who sew call themselves sewists, and terminology that's changing, and that's not even a word in the dictionary, but it's terminology that's changing. Our language evolves whether we like it or not. And one of the things that has evolved is handwork. When you are talking about you made something, you sewed something, and you say it's handmade. Currently, the individuals that I am hearing say this uh, say it includes sewing machines, sewing machines. And for me, and for a good many years, it meant what I'm doing right now, where you're stitching with your hands and there isn't a machine. So, okay, I it evolved. It handmade now means a machine. It could be involved. But my question is, if I want to make it clear that I sat down and stitched this without a machine, how do I do that now? I don't I haven't heard uh, words, single, easy to comprehend um, label for hand handmade handwork that, what is it, precludes the use of a machine. Now, if I just use that the opposite way that it's supposed to be used, I'm sorry. Um, but you know what I mean, is like without a machine, what is my label? What's my current label? So if you know what it is, I'd love to know, because it's important to me that you understand that I sat down and hand stitched something without a machine, because the machine work is different. It's not, well, hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes over their opinions on hand stitching versus machine stitching, but the fact is it's usually not as good. It's the whole way in which you've got two threads doing what one thread used to do, and the way in which it interlocks. And our experience on clothing is that it's much easier to break a machine stitch, blow out a seam in your pants or your shirts, if they've been machine stitched. And when we hand stitch them, it rarely happens. Hand stitching is our go-to for, if you keep blowing out the machine stitched seam, it's time to just sit down and hand stitch it, because it'll last and you won't have to fix it. My hand stitched garments always last longer. I just don't have as much time to work on them as I used to, and I have a greater need for more clothing that is made by me. Uh, my outfit today is entirely from the skin out. I made it. And if you've got to deal with making everything you wear, then that's a lot of sewing. And it just makes sense to employ a machine to move it along, or you don't have anything to wear. Like, you will see a lot of the same clothes week after week because I don't have a lot of options. I have more than, more than two, but they always seem to land on Wednesday, the same ones, over and over. I really like this shirt, and I plan on making another one almost exactly like it, so it'll look like I'm wearing the same shirt when I'm not. Anyway, maybe we'll break it up with a bunch of prints and make the same shirt, but with different prints. That was a lot of the questions. The other thing that I'm having to deal with right now that is a change. So, I changed my diet, but this diet requested that we go to bed at a decent hour. Now, I don't know about you, but my most productive hours are late. I used to work from 6 p.m. until like 2 a.m., and that was my absolute best hours for working. And if you work other hours or if you work like that, let me know, because I'd love to know if there's other night owls, actually doing their work in those hours. And um, I went ahead and I gave that up this for a week now. And last night, I guess 10 days, I went to bed at 10 o'clock, and I got up earlier, but I'm not getting the sewing done. And I haven't had a chance to do a lot of the work I used to do in those hours. And I mean, it's all got to be quiet work, because everybody else, like, it's actually works better because my bedroom situation is such that when everybody else gets up and are heading out the door, because Cloud has to go into town for their job, and Joey just likes to get a fairly early start. They're right outside my bedroom door, so there's no you don't sleep solidly through that, even if you were up till 2 a.m. If I'm lucky, I sleep solidly through it, but that's rare. So it's a complication to this other thing I thought might work better. I thought it might actually suit what the living situation, and I might do better with more hours, when everybody else is asleep. And no. So last night, what I was about to say was, last night I stayed up until, I don't know, midnight almost. Not 2 a.m., but midnight almost, and it felt so good. And I guess we're gonna stop now because Radar has discovered there's a car coming up the driveway. And I'll see you next week. Bye.